Well, hello, my lovelies. We have a very interesting reading because this is pretty consistent with the energy we've been talking about for the last few days. This super moon has really opened up some portals, some not even awakening, but more of like a reset, like a restart. Like I know that we always hear people saying like you're gonna reset in the spiritual realm. But this is like a solid reset. This is you coming back down to your roots and really finding the sustenance that is 655 really finding that sustenance that nourishes your soul and reactivates this purity within you. Now, of course, there's no true perfection in the world. However, there's this purity within our energy, within our souls, when we are nourishing the right way and we're actually staying true to our needs and our desires, because these things are really important to who we are in our nature, and it's important to value these experiences to better understand yourself and what you really need. Now, with that being said, just to provide some clarity, we did pull some cards. If you're from my TikTok, welcome, because I did do a partial reading there, but this is going to be your full reading. We're going to pull some more cards too. But the first card that we pulled here was, the Ten of Wands. Woo! Some heavy energy of feeling really overburdened with work. People just piling things on you, overworking you, and just putting much too much responsibility on your back. And this isn't coming from you wanting the responsibility, it's from people just placing it on your back. So it's really important to understand. We learned a lot about boundaries with our shadow work for a reason, because this is super important. This is super crucial to be in tune with our own nature and our own needs and desires. It's extremely important to understand your own limitations and to vocalize those limitations, so you're not overworking yourself by allowing other people to pressure you with all this work. Like, you can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't if your cup's just over poured with all of this energy and all of this work, it's just gonna be a chaotic mess. So let's focus on discipline, but let's also focus on relaxing with this energy too, because we need to take a step back. We need to know when to take a step back and accept that energy, because sometimes we're workaholics and sometimes we just that's just how we cope, or how we depressurize is by working. So it's important to understand that, some of that can be a really toxic lifestyle if you're not actually doing things correctly and recharging your energy. The next card that we got here was the Six of Cups. So, really feeling nostalgic with your past, wanting to reconnect with happier experiences, things from your childhood that brought you joy. This is something also super important to understand when recharging. Like, you need to come back to your roots. Your inner child is calling you, because you need to relax. You need to reset, and you need to recharge, and you need to do things that nourish your soul. And this inner child is wanting to reminisce the past, because the past connects it to this joy and this blissfulness, this innocence that you are looking for again in your life. This freedom, this free child who has less burdens and less responsibilities and wants this freer lifestyle. So in order to tune into a much more abundant future, you have to also respect and listen to this inner child, because this inner child knows exactly what you actually need versus what you tell yourself that you need. And it's important because this communication comes from a core part of you. This is going to connect you with your life cycle, your energy, your health, your well-being, and your abundance, because without this inner child, there wouldn't be inner peace. This child is you. This is like your soul speaking out to you. It's not necessarily you as a child, it's you as a soul, and there's this innocence and purity within your soul that connects with your childhood. And so that's where the connection is really coming from. So it's not necessarily being nostalgic as wanting to be a kid yourself, but that innocence, that purity, that blissfulness, that freedom, that's the connection we're getting here. Super important to understand, because this all ties together, I promise you. Our last card that we pulled here was the Three of Cups. So again, wanting to reconnect with friends and community, and just going back to that inner freedom, and just experiencing bliss, freedom, joy, just reconnecting with people who bring out this side of you where you don't have to worry about outside problems. You don't have to worry about drama or work-life problems, family problems. Like, you can come here and this can be like not necessarily an escape, but it's not going to be something that feeds into the rest of the toxic cycles and all of this. It's going to be a way where you can reset, recharge, understand balance again, and reconnect yourself with ways to refocus the chaotic energy that's around you in other times. So this is somewhere where you can come and breathe and think, recharge, and think with clarity, so you can actually come back, solve your problems, fix some things, and learn to let go of some things that you can't fix. I know, that one's a tough one. But this is very important to this next stage, because when we're listening to ourselves, when we're reconnecting with our inner voice, this voice that calls out and screams at times when we have disconnected and chosen to not listen to it, it's going to make us chaotic. It's going to make us as individuals chaotic. We're going to respond to our environments chaotically. I myself am guilty of this. It's very important to understand your limitations and move past whatever stumbling cycle that you feel that you're stuck in, because it's the repetition of that mindset that's also keeping you stuck or making you feel stuck. So you're not necessarily stuck, you're feeling stuck, and so it's making you stuck. I know, God. But don't worry, we're here to get out of it. This portal, this Lionsgate portal, was very crucial. It's very important. We have a lot of super beautiful super moon energy. It's a very abundant season, but we're also doing some inner shadow work. So this is really important for this next step. So as we move on to a more abundant chapter in our lives, I just talked about how in my TikTok video I pulled an oracle card out, and I talked about how I don't usually wait for these to fly out, because they don't. They're thick and they're big. That one just landed right there on my astrology board. That was funny. Let's see what the card is here. If this is the same card, okay. Yeah, that's funny. The moon is coming in for perception. So yeah, it's a perception check. Didn't I not just talk about... I'm super hot, sorry. I literally just talked about this moon energy and the portals. They're very abundant, but it's coming in for perception. It's bringing in a perception check. This is super crucial to this next step, because we have to understand if we're listening to ourselves. We have to understand if we're listening to our needs, and if we're going to really allow ourselves to reset, because we can get in this zone when we are very abundant and we do have everything figured out, but we're not taking care of ourselves. And so this is super important. The moon cycle, like, it brings this chaos in to test you, but not in a way to like break you, but to really just kind of shake you, so you're actually listening to your needs, and you're not just playing some game. I'm sorry, it's really hot. where you're not playing some game where you're acting like you're doing the things that are necessary for your soul fulfillment and enriching your life and being abundant and full of happy, healthy energy. And instead you're just kind of clouding and pretending, shadowing that energy, and it all catches up to you. So this is important. You don't want this type of energy to catch up to you in the future. You want to really learn the lessons. When you really learn the lessons, you become stronger, you become wiser, you can change outcomes of other situations in the future, and you can really know how to take care of yourself better, and the world around you will just become so much simpler because you took the time to listen and understand. And I know that it can be frustrating, but you putting in the work, I mean, you can like literally treat yourself and reward yourself, and then it becomes so much more fun that way. I'm just saying, like, I know that it can be frustrating doing shadow work and doing all this heavy lifting, especially child wounds, child trauma, things like that. Those things are not easy, but when you reward yourself, it makes it that much more fun, and you know that you're healing, and you know that you're doing the right things to better yourself and improve your life. So that in itself is a reward too. I'm just saying, like, if you just go in with a certain mindset and you just try to freshen up and just reset, like the cards are trying to tell you to do, then it will become much more clear, and it will be much easier and simpler, and you won't feel like so much of a struggle. And we're trying to get past this struggle feeling, and so even when we have bad days, we're not going through this repetitive struggling feeling. We're just having a bad day, and that's as simple as it is. And that's what we want to get to. We want to understand that having bad days doesn't mean that we're falling back into a cycle or that we're doing something wrong. It just means that we're having a bad day, and that, we need to reset or recharge, reconnect, ground ourselves, do whatever to reset. 707. It's that simple. But that's the thing. We're getting out of the cycle itself. So the moon is here as a cycle to perception check ourselves out of our own cycles. Crazy. That moon is silly and ironic, but it's awesome. We're going to pull one more card. This is from the Pleasure Oracle deck, since we have this rhythm of finding the pleasure again and reconnecting with community and friends. We're just going to go ahead and pull a card. The space between my loved one's physical and emotional closeness, sex needs distance. That's weird. I'm just kidding. In the realm of sensual desire, what's mysterious is what's most electrifying. Have you ever met someone who came on too strong? Have you ever spent too much time with a partner? It might have made you happy initially, but it likely didn't arouse you. We're taught to smother those who we're attracted to, obsess over, and dissolve into them. So maybe take a step back from any relationship where you've been around somebody 24/7, whether that be a spouse, partner, a friend, family member, whatever it is. Like, take some time to step away and go hang out with some other people, or go do your own thing for a little bit and just try to reset that energy. Because yeah, we don't want to obsess and we don't want to dissolve into somebody else's energy. So even if we're not necessarily obsessed with somebody else, or we're not attached to somebody else, just being around somebody else's energy 24/7 is not ideal, and it's going to kind of affect you energetically in a lot of different ways, and it's kind of complicated to really explain that, but just understand that it does. So, and understanding that you can take a step back and just recharge your energy, go somewhere and go somewhere alone, or honestly, I really do recommend hanging out with different people, even if they're strangers. Like, I've had some pretty cool conversations with complete strangers in the street, long conversations too. So I'm just saying, like, you never know who you're gonna meet one day, what the circumstances are, and some of the best friendships that you ever have will be under the strangest circumstances. So just respect that truth too, and its honesty. But you don't have to be around somebody 24/7 to love them, and you don't have to be around somebody 24/7 or even like every freaking week. You know, you can have your own thing and still love somebody and still come back to people. Like strong bonds, strong relationships. There's no time or distance between y'all that's going to escape that energy. There's that connection, it exists, and it's real. So if there's a real solid connection, there's nothing to be afraid of, is basically what I'm saying. So take some time to focus back on you, because going into this main character energy is going to require you to prioritize yourself and get past this idea that it is selfish to prioritize your own energy and do the things that you want first, because those things are important. They do not make you selfish, and it doesn't make you egotistical, although a lot of people will try to tell you that. A lot of spiritual gurus will tell you that the ego is toxic. It is not. It is toxic to not have an ego and put the world in front of you. You yourself can do more action by putting yourself first forward. Just like, this is the strangest metaphor, but I learned it recently myself. You know, you're not, when you get on an airplane, when you listen to the stewardess, if you listen to their conversations, the first thing when they're telling you all the safety precautions is you can't try to help somebody else put on their life vest or their oxygen without putting it on yourself first. So I'm just saying, put your own oxygen on first. Prioritize. Please don't let yourself get to that level where you need an oxygen tank, but I'm just saying, put yours on first and then help other people. Okay, I love you guys. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Please share this video because it helps me help you, help me help you, help me. Bye.